in this little workshop we're going to be looking at these diagrams of knives there. Now when you look at them, they don't really look like knives, so what we're doing is we're looking down the blade at the profile that it creates. So the main problem people have with sharpening is losing the shoulder. The shoulder is where the angle joins the flat of the blade here. And when you change the angle as you're grinding, you unintentionally convex it and you end up just with this smooth surface here, and it's hard to know when it locks into place. So the most important thing with sharpening is to maintain the same angle. Even if it's obtuse or acute or whatever you want, as long as you're maintaining it, you can sharpen your knife and get a sharp edge. So this first one is where we've maintained the shoulder, that angle there, and this one is unintentionally convexing. What I've got here is a diagram comparing a thin blade, so this is 2mm stock here, and 4mm stock here. Now they've both been sharpened. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
They've both been sharpened to the same angle. This is the same angle down here. But obviously the thinner blade is going to have a narrower bevel. I've put here 3mm for each bevel on each side. Because this is the 4mm blade, it's going to have a wider bevel and it's going to come up further. The thicker the blade stock, the wider the bevel, and the more you're going to feel it lock into place on the stone. With a thin blade, it's almost like sharpening on a tightrope. You can't quite feel it lock into place as well. So thicker knives don't cut as well, but they're easier to sharpen. In this diagram here, I've got three edges. So you've got to determine whether your knife needs a sharpen or whether the edge just needs realigning. In this first one, it doesn't need a sharpen, the edge is just rolled off to one side. So we need to realign it. We could use a butcher's steel, or we can use a strop. I'm using my leather belt here. Or we could use a little crock stick like this, bit of ceramic. Or even, I don't imagine anyone here today has got a ceramic plate or the bottom of a ceramic cup, but that little ring on the bottom is excellent. It's just like that ceramic, and if with kitchen knives or anything else, as long as it's not super hard, you can get a good edge on them.
Say goodbye to your cups, Jim.
They get a bit black on the bottom.
Yeah, you should have said that.
In this second diagram, we've got one where the edge has worn away. This one is in desperate need of a sharpen. So that's just going to slip on the wood. You're not going to have good control. You're going to need to force it more through the wood, and the more you force, the less control you got. You're less likely to get a carving that you're happy with, and you're more likely to slip and stab yourself in the leg or something. This third diagram is an edge that is properly aligned. It's sharp, it's meeting at a sharp angle there, and that's what you want. It's still got the shoulders on the side of the blade. Now in this one down here, we've got a 0 grind Scandi, and in this one we've got a micro bevel. I did a little bit of this on the forum, I don't know whether anyone saw the micro bevel stuff. 0 grind Scandi, basically when we've got a stone, I lie the side of the blade flat down against the stone, and then you rock it until you feel that flat bevel lock into place against it. And if we just sharpen it like that on that side, and sharpen it like that on that side until they're aligned, that's your 0 grind, so it's meeting at that sharp angle. This is a nice thick blade, so that'll lock in place like that. You can really feel that lock in, as opposed to this skinny blade, which is more of that tightrope that we're talking about. Now when it's like that, it's a really keen edge, it cuts really well. And as long as you're cutting straight down, carving straight down, it's fine. Like, it'll just slice straight through. But as soon as you put a bit of sidewards movement or anything like that, because you don't have much material right at the very edge, it can roll and need realigning more readily than a micro bevel. So with a micro bevel, this is we just take off some of the material right at the edge, so it's still very sharp, but it's got more material just behind the edge. So that means if you need to roll it, or you're working hard wood or trying to cut through a knot like some of us have been, you're less likely to need to resharpen it. It's not going to roll quite as much. So I'll get down to the actual sharpening. If anyone wants to sharpen their knife, they can follow along. I've just got a little pocket stone, I think it's a DC4. I'm just holding it between 2 fingers and thumb, and lying the flat of the blade down on the stone. And then all we're going to do is lean it forward until you feel that bevel lock in. Hopefully you've all got Scandis. We can do secondary bevel knives in a while. Yeah, so as soon as you feel that lock down. Now what I'm doing I'm not necessarily pushing it across the stone that much. Like, it is going to travel across the stone towards my thumb, but I don't want to put too much pressure in case it slips and cuts into my thumb. So what I'm doing is I'm drawing it back towards myself at a slight angle. And once I've done that, I'm going to put it flat, flush there, and tilt it again. Now, if I didn't have to do that, it would be a lot quicker if I could just go. But you want to make sure that you're getting that angle so we don't lose the shoulders of the edge. So you might do, depending on how blunt your knife is, you might do 10 on one side. Let's say that's 10. Now, it's kind of hard to do it the other way, looking at the other side. So what I like to do is I like to hold the knife stationary then and move the stone. So you'll have it flat against there, and then you can see when that gap disappears, and then you're going to move it up like that. Some people can do it the same hand. I need to maintain the same angle by doing this. So once we've done that, we're going to do alternating strokes. So we'll do one there, laborious, swap it over, and the other side. So we'll do that alternating maybe 10 strokes. What we're left with by this stage hopefully is a really sharp edge that's going to have a burr or a wire edge, so it'll feel really sharp, it'll cut really well for a few strokes. We've got this little bit of wavering metal right on the edge that needs removing, because otherwise if you encounter something hard it can tear off and take some of the good edge with it. So what we can do is either strop or put a micro bevel on with, you can use a stone or you can use a ceramic rod like this or the bottom of your plate or your cup or whatever. So what you do is you lie your knife flat down against it, tilt till you're at the correct bevel angle, and then you raise it up a millimeter further, and then with just the weight of the blade, not pushing down at all, we draw the blade back and we do it on the other side, tilt it up, lift it a millimeter and draw it back. And I do 10 alternating strokes, and that gives you the micro bevel, so that's taking off some of the metal right at the edge. It'll still be shaving sharp, or it should be, but it'll get rid of that burr, and that way you'll have a much more robust edge. There we go. That's pretty much it. Any questions?
So you can either strop with that or the belt.
Yeah, or both if you're really pedantic.
Yeah. And then with the belt strop, how many strokes do you normally do?
I do 200, so 100 each side. You can either use a, I don't know what the correct term is, I call it a reinforced, where it's on something hard.
Okay. And
you're lying it down flush and you're pulling away, but I prefer, oh there we go, there's a nice one. Are you pulling away? Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Or else you can use, I don't know what it's called, I call it a floating strop, so I'm pinning down the belt, pull it tight, and then I'm pulling down like this, and that's one, so 2, 3, and so on.
So you can pretty much, the gain you're getting from doing 200 of those isn't much greater than using the ceramic rod you've got there?
No, so it might convex the micro bevel slightly, but it's not really an issue.
Yeah, so if you can,
yeah,
easier or quicker.
Yeah. Now if you micro bevel your knife and it gets a bit blunt, you don't have to go through the whole grinding on the stone again. You can just reapply that micro bevel. And then say you redo the micro bevel 10 times or so, you don't want it to build up so much that it's a secondary bevel, like a noticeable bevel on the edge there. So then you go back to your stone and you grind away some of the metal on either side. But the micro bevel, it should be so fine that if you hold it up to the sun, you should just be able to see a slight shine just along the side of the blade, not on the actual edge.
So what happens if you take a bit of a chip out of your knife, a bit of damage? You just have to work it down until it's gone?
You can. I personally don't bother, like unless it is catching on the carving.
Yeah.
Then the next time I do it on the stone, it'll probably be removed anyway. Yeah. So does anyone want to?
What sort of pressure are you using when you're doing the strop?
The strop, okay. So I'm pulling it as tight as I can, so I don't want too much bend in the belt there. I'm placing it down. I'm pulling at that angle. It's not the same amount that I'm using on the stone, so I'll show you with the belt. That's how much I can push down the belt there. We're getting a little bit of push down the belt, but not a huge amount, because you don't want to fold that edge over with too much pressure there.
Yeah, because the belt will flex back up like a wave.
Exactly.
And take that edge off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've been too heavy-handed with my sharpening up until now.
That's why I have this. That's why I have the strop on this piece of wood, so that you don't get that wave. It's a lot smoother.
One more thing with pressure on the stone, you're better off going a little bit lighter on the stone and doing more strokes than going too heavy, because the heavier you go, the more of a burr you're going to get. And each time you do a heavy stroke there, the burr is going to roll over this way. You're going to do a heavy stroke there, it's going to roll over this way. You have more to strop away or micro bevel away at the end.
What brand stone is that you got?
This is a Fulmarvin DC4, I think.
Okay.
So it's got diamond on that side and ceramic on that side.
The one I gave that you used of mine that time down with Calmon. That was a easy lap diamond stone. That worked alright, didn't it?
That was great.
That was good from Bunnings.
And the stone disappearing, that's easy for me to do towards myself.
Yeah.
When it's the opposite side, okay, I hold the knife in my non-dominant hand, I keep it still, and I move the stone in my dominant hand.
Oh, okay.
More time consuming, but I get a better result. And then go down, and then alternate. Okay. So it's more of a visual thing, you can't feel it lock in, it's like that tightrope we were talking about before. Yeah. I'm happy to sharpen anyone or help anyone sharpen their knives if they want.
Another little trick, Blake, for you. When you're trying to do the tip of your blade, you can mark it with a bit of felt tip pen.
Yeah.
Use two hands. Put your, it's not when you're in the field, but when you're at home.
Yeah.
Put your stone on a secure surface. Use two hands, and if you do it often enough, after a while, your muscle memory will work for you.
Yeah, no, that's what I've done. Like you said, hand on there.
It's also easier with a slightly larger stone than these things. You can actually make a decent sharpening surface very cheaply. If you buy some millwood or something like that, or
Thanks very much for that, Aris.
Pleasure.
That was great. Yeah, thanks.
The small circles that you see some people do with their sharpening, that's fine if you want to work on one area, like a problem area. What tends to happen, or with me, anyway, when I'm doing that, is you actually end up raising it slightly. It's very hard to maintain that same angle while you do a circle unless you've got like your finger and your thumb locking into position. With a scanning, it's not too bad. With a secondary edge bevel, you'll end up alternating and taking off the shoulder of the edge, which we spoke about at the start. Okay, so with the spoon knives, we've only got the bevel on one edge of the blade, which is the outside one. So we're going to sharpen it on the stone the same way we did with the other ones. We're going to lie it flat and then tilt it till that gap disappears. I do it a bit at a time. Pretty nasty shape to sharpen. So once I've done that, I'm going to be left with a burr on the inside. And the way to get that would be to use one of these or one of these and lie it flat there. And remove that burr like that. And you could, if you want to tilt it up and get a micro bevel on there, but I just do it flat. Yeah, of course you can.
Actually, what was I saying that? Weren't
And it's hard to get it shaving, but it is possible to get it shaving with the spoon.
Cool. Thank you.